Air and water are life force. In this lesson, atmosphere, layers of atmosphere, composition of air, properties of air, water, impurities in water, purification of water. Air is present all around us. We cannot see air, but we can feel it. Air is essential for all living things to breathe. We cannot live without air for more than a few minutes. Atmosphere. The earth is surrounded by a thick blanket of air, called atmosphere. It is several kilometers thick. Atmosphere is held around the earth by the earth's gravity. It contains a mixture of gases like nitrogen, oxygen, argon, carbon dioxide, neon, water vapor and many more. The amount of air becomes less as we go up. We breathe in air, we breathe in fresh air. This is called inhaled air or inspired air. The air we breathe out is called exhaled air or expired air. The oxygen in the inhaled air is taken up by blood in the lungs. Carbon dioxide from the blood is given out in the exhaled air. Exhaled air has a higher percentage of carbon dioxide and is warmer than inhaled air. Air is necessary for burning. The oxygen present in the air is necessary for burning. When you invert a glass bottle/jar over a burning candle, the candle stops burning after some time. This is because the candle burns till all oxygen in the air inside the jar is used up, and then it blows out. Air has other uses. Parachutes, gliders, and kites need moving air to support them in the sky. Aeroplanes cannot fly in the absence of air. Air is used to inflate tubes of vehicles, footballs, basketballs, volleyballs, etc. Sailboats are pushed by air, and blades of windmills are turned by air to generate electricity or lift up water. Significance of atmosphere. The atmosphere protects us from the harmful ultraviolet sun rays by absorbing them and thus preventing them from reaching us. It traps the heat of the sun and helps in maintaining the right temperature for the survival of living organisms. It also protects us from meteors. They get burnt up high in the atmosphere before reaching us. The atmosphere contains gases like oxygen and carbon dioxide which are necessary for the survival of all living things. Humans and animals use oxygen to breathe, while plants use carbon dioxide to prepare food. The atmosphere comprises the wind, rain, and clouds in the sky. Layers of atmosphere. The atmosphere is divided into 5 layers: troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere and exosphere. Troposphere. Troposphere is the first layer above the surface of the earth. It is this layer which forms almost half of the atmosphere. It contains the optimum amount of air needed by living organisms to breathe. Weather changes take place in this layer. Stratosphere. Stratosphere is the second layer of the atmosphere. Jet planes fly in this layer. Stratosphere contains ozone layer which absorbs the harmful ultraviolet rays of the sun. Mesosphere. Mesosphere is the third layer. It is also known as the cold layer. It is this layer which burns up the meteors, and thereby prevents them from reaching the earth. Meteors can cause large-scale destruction if they fall on the earth. Thermosphere. Thermosphere is the fourth layer. It is very hot here. Space shuttles orbit in this layer. Exosphere. Exosphere is the outermost layer of the atmosphere. It has very little air. It helps in long-distance communication through radio, television and mobiles. The exosphere is the very edge of our atmosphere. This layer separates the rest of the atmosphere from outer space. Composition of air. Air is a mixture of gases, which are present in it in different quantities. Nitrogen. Nitrogen is the most abundant gas found in air. It comprises nearly 78% of the Earth's atmosphere. It exists in the soil, but cannot be used directly by the plants from it. Bacteria present in the soil and root nodules of plants convert it into a usable form. It is then taken up by the plants from the soil. Animals eat plants and get nitrogen. Oxygen. Oxygen is present up to the extent of 21 in the atmosphere. It is one of the most important constituents of air. Living things use it for breathing. It is also required for burning. Carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide comprises about 0.03 of the atmosphere. It is used along with water and sunlight by the green plants to carry out photosynthesis, process to make their own food. Other gases. Air also contains minute amounts of some other gases like helium, argon, neon, krypton, ozone, hydrogen, etc. Neon is used in glow signboards, helium is filled in air balloons, and argon is used in glass tubes to produce a colorful glow. Water vapor. Air contains water vapor. The amount of water vapor present in the air is called humidity. Humidity is the highest in coastal areas and the least in deserts. High humidity makes us feel uncomfortable as sweat does not evaporate easily. Water vapor is formed when water evaporates from the surface of water bodies, i.e. seas, rivers and lakes. Variations in amounts of water vapor present in air can cause weather changes. Water vapor condenses to form clouds, rain, snow and fog. Smoke and dust. Air also contains polluting smoke and dust particles which are harmful for living things. Properties of air. Air occupies space. This property is used to inflate bicycle tubes, football, tubes of tires, cushions, mattresses, etc. Activity 1. Take a balloon and blow air into it. The balloon increases in size. This is because the air we blow fills up the space inside the balloon. Activity 2. Take two balloons of equal size. Blow air into them and tie each at the neck. Tie the balloons on each end of a stick. Tie a thread in the middle of the stick and hang it as shown alongside. Now move one of the balloons to balance the stick. Now, prick one of them. The air will escape from it. What do you observe? As the air escapes from the balloon, the stick tilts towards the full-blown balloon. This shows that air has weight. Air exerts pressure. Anything which has weight exerts pressure. Since air has weight, it exerts pressure. Air exerts pressure in all directions. Activity 3. Take a bottle. Fill it with water completely. Fit a cork on it. Insert a straw through a hole in the cap. Seal the space around the straw with dough. Now try to drink water. You will not be able to do so, because there is no pressure to push water up the straw. Now try drinking water with a straw from a glass. You will be able to do so. The air pressure allows water to travel up. We use this property of air for filling ink in a fountain pen, filling in a syringe, and drinking through a straw. The air pressure varies from place to place. Activity 4. Take two candles and fix them on a table. Light them. Cover one of the candles with a glass. What do you observe? The candle inside the glass stops burning after some time, whereas the other candle continues to burn. The candle inside the glass burns till the time oxygen is present, and then extinguishes. The other candle continues to burn as it receives a continuous supply of air. This shows that air is necessary for combustion. Water. Just like air, water is also essential for life. We need water to drink as we cannot remain thirsty for long. Plants cannot live and grow without water. We also need water for cooking food, bathing, washing clothes, growing plants, constructing building, firefighting, etc. Rain is the main source of water. Water is found in oceans, rivers, ponds, and under the ground. Rainwater is the purest form of water, but it is often unfit for consumption as it can dissolve harmful substances from the air, collect dirt, certain living and dead things, and other impurities. Impurities in water. Impurities in water can be of the following types: soluble impurities which dissolve in water like salt, and thus cannot be seen. Insoluble impurities which do not dissolve in water, and thus can be seen. Some heavy impurities like sand and mud settle at the bottom. Some impurities are lighter than water so they float on top. We can remove these impurities by simple methods. Harmful germs which can cause diseases. Separating soluble impurities. We can separate soluble impurities by evaporation and distillation. Evaporation. Evaporation is a very simple method of separating soluble impurities like salt from water. Take impure water and heat it. Water evaporates on heating, and impurities are left behind. Distillation. We can also remove soluble impurities by distillation. Distillation is carried out using the following apparatus: round bottom flask, condenser, a receiving flask and a burner. Impure water is taken in a round bottom flask and heated till it starts boiling. Water is converted to steam. This steam is passed through a condenser, where it cools due to cold water circulating around it. Steam is converted back to water which is collected in the receiving flask. Distillation. Iron stand, round bottom flask, burner, water outlet, condenser, water inlet, receiving flask. Distilled water is the purest form of water which contains no impurities. It is used in batteries, medicines, injections, car radiators and in certain science experiments. Separating insoluble impurities. We can separate insoluble impurities by sedimentation and decantation, and by filtration. Activity 5. Take some water in a breaker. Add mud and sand and mix. Allow the mixture to stand for some time. What do you observe? The impurities will settle at the bottom of the beaker. Sedimentation and decantation. The process is called sedimentation. The particles of soil, mud, etc., which settle down are called sediments. We can get clear water by pouring the top water into another container. This is called decantation. Filtration. Another method of removing insoluble impurities is by filtration. It is a better method than sedimentation and decantation as it can remove more impurities. In this method, impure water is passed through a filter paper. The filter paper acts as a strainer and holds back the insoluble impurities. Activity 6. Take a circular filter paper, fold it into a cone. Place the cone in a funnel. Place a flask below the funnel. Pour impure water through the filter paper. You will observe that impurities remain on the filter paper, and clear water collects in the flask. Purification of water. Clean and pure water is necessary for drinking and cooking. If we are to remain healthy, impure water contains many harmful germs that can cause diseases like cholera, jaundice and dysentery. The best way to purify drinking water is by boiling. Remember to boil water for at least 10 minutes to kill the germs. Boiled water should be strained through a clean cloth, stored in clean utensils and must be covered properly. In large cities, water for public supply is purified and filtered before being supplied through pipes for domestic use. 3 methods are commonly used to treat water for domestic supply. Sedimentation. Water is collected in large open tanks and left undisturbed for some days. This allows the heavier suspended impurities to settle down at the bottom. Air and sunlight act on water in open tanks and kill many harmful germs. Chemicals like alum are also added to purify water. Filtration. After water is treated with sedimentation, it is filtered through a clean sand bed to further remove finer suspended particles. Chlorination. Water is now disinfected with a small quantity of chlorine gas to kill the remaining germs. This water is piped to homes and is safe for drinking. Other methods can also be used to purify water at home. Use a water filter to store drinking water. The filter should be cleaned regularly, as a dirty filter is a breeding place for disease-causing germs. Potassium permanganate crystals can be added to open sources of water like wells to kill germs. Underground water from tube wells, deep wells, or springs is normally free from insoluble impurities and safe to drink.